I'm Eric Loy, and welcome to Eric Loy Interviews. On this podcast, we talk with folks from the VTuber community on their channels, their talents, their stories, where they come from, and their plans for the future. I would like to welcome Megumi Mary to the show. Hi.
Hello, I am Megumi Mary, the transgender chimera girl with a heart of gold and love for all things nerdy.
I appreciate you coming on, and I was able to watch a little bit of the stream a little while ago, but I'd like to know if you could please let us know what your streams are like.
I'm mostly a variety gamer, actually. I kind of jump around doing just a whole bunch of stuff, you know?
Yeah.
I don't really stick to one thing. Kind of ADHD tendencies for, my ADHD tendencies are kind of like portrayed in my video game tastes like that. I'll circle around to some of my old favorites, but I'll also jump around to a lot of new stuff too.
Yeah. Well, you've got a Metroid marathon coming up.
Yes.
You'll be playing.
I am very excited about that.
You're going to be playing a lot of Metroid.
Yes. 6. For some reason, the schedule says 7. I wonder why that is. But 6 days of Metroid from the schedule says it's the 26th to the 1st for some reason. Hint, hint.
Mm-hmm.
Where I will be playing Metroid 1 through 5, and then on the 31st, I will be playing Metroid Other M, which is like the most hated Metroid game, but I actually have a soft spot for it.
Yes. Sometimes we just fall in love with something like that.
Yes. So the reason why I do this is because I've had my YouTube channel for over 16 years now, actually.
Wow.
Yes.
Holy cats.
So in 2015, like I've had like back in the old days of YouTube when there was like AMVs and abridged series stuff, I've tried my hand at a few of those. Nothing really took off.
Yeah.
And all my oldest videos, they're long gone now. Like this was back when YouTube deleted stuff that broke. So it's like the old days of YouTube.
Yeah. If it was on there too long, they got rid of it. And if you weren't watching it, they got rid of it. That type of thing.
Well, not just that, but it was also like if it violated copyright strikes, they just deleted the video itself.
Yeah. They didn't let you try to fix it. They just got rid of it.
Exactly. They just deleted the video.
Yeah.
So in 2015, I decided to reboot my channel, and I did it with a critical analysis video, where I basically defend an unpopular opinion.
Okay.
In this case, that Metroid Other M is not as bad a game as everyone says it is.
Did you get any support for that opinion, or did they come after you?
I mean, my channel is still under 1,000 subs, so
they did
after 9 years. So
well, sometimes you just have to stand on principle.
Oh yeah, no. Like the entire Metroid series stands as like my number 2 game of all time.
Yeah.
So
which is the first?
Well, Majora's Mask.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yes. Majora's Mask.
I could tell by your voice how much you enjoy that one. Majora's Mask.
Yes. Nothing has the gaming moment that had the most impact on me as a gamer is I borrowed the game from Blockbuster. So I didn't know that there was a 3-day mechanic because it was a save file someone had already started.
Oh, okay.
So I was running around the game doing whatever. I was allowed to leave Clocktown and everything because again, it was a file someone had already started.
Right. And
then it was like the final 6 hours start. I was outside South Clocktown.
Yeah.
I look up and I see the moon about to crash down during the last 6 hours. And my gut instinct in that moment was to crouch inside of the log there.
Yes.
Behind the shield. And I just stayed there until the world ended. And that moment had just such a profound effect on me that like Star Fox 64 was the first game I fell in love with.
Yeah.
And that's like when I like fell in love with video games, but this was the moment I truly became a gamer at heart.
Yeah. Yeah. It affected you so much that it came almost real to you at that point.
Exactly. Like
Mm.
this is when it became clear to me that video games were an art form.
Well, they are. I mean, the ones that
Oh yeah.
the ones that can really make you feel it, and whether it's maybe it's a cheap tear jerker or even a jump scare sometimes, but
Yeah. I mean,
to get that response is an art form.
I kind of joke that all you have to do in order for me to fall in love with something is have it start with the letter M. Metroid, Majora's Mask, Madoka Magica, Megumi Mary, Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Well, by that meant you have to be like Madden, Madden football games.
No, guess not.
So
Okay, so it's not a foolproof strategy, but I mean,
it's
close enough.
that's the exception that proves the rule. We'll go with that.
Yeah.
Yes, but um those types of games obviously something that you enjoy quite a bit. But you say you go back and forth between games. Are we talking like almost any genre, or is it basically arcade or horror or what?
Um, not too big on horror.
Mm-hmm.
Adventure games like Zelda, I like. Platformers like Banjo-Kazooie, Mario. Um, I'm still waiting for a new port of Rayman 2: The Great Escape. Earlier this year, I did a 100% completion run of Sonic Adventure 2 Battle for the first time ever.
Whoa! How long did that take you?
I thought it was going to be the kind of thing where I had to chip away at it a little bit at a time over the course of like a year or two.
Yeah.
I did it in like 11 streams over the course of like 2 weeks.
Well, I mean, that's still a lot of time concentrated
Yeah.
on doing that, but at least it
Yeah,
wasn't
but
2
it
years.
was like a lot quicker and easier than I honestly thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
The Chow Garden. Oh my God, the Chow Garden was the biggest hurdle. And then I figured out like after the fact how to do the Chow duplication glitch with the Chow drives and the animals and stuff.
Yeah.
Because that's why it took me so long, was because I didn't even know how to do that.
Oh, but you still got through without doing the glitch.
Yes, I did.
Well,
I did. That's why the Chow emblems were the last ones I got in the entire game.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think that's a bigger badge of honor than doing it with the glitch, don't you think?
Exactly.
Yeah, I'd be more proud of that,
Yeah.
actually. But,
So back to the Metroid marathon.
yeah.
I'm going to be playing. So basically, because my Metroid Other M video came out back on December 31st, 2015. I'm going to be. It's to celebrate my channel's anniversary of the reboot.
Excellent.
So this is the second year I'm doing it. So I'm going to be playing Metroid 1 through 5, one game each day, from the 26th to the 30th.
Mm-hmm.
And then on the 31st, I'm going to rewatch on stream my first video.
Oh.
And then I'm going to go straight into Metroid Other M, replaying the whole game.
Oh, so do you know what you're in for watching that first video again?
Say that again?
Do you know what you're in for? I mean, is it going to be something you're going to be cringing at, or is it going to be something you'll enjoy?
I did this last year, actually. So this is, again, my second annual year doing this.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
And honestly, I remember last year when I did it, it was like, yeah, it was a little cringy, but it actually held up better than I thought it did.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's good.
Like I thought I was going to be cringing a lot harder at it, but for someone who didn't know what they were doing when they made that first video, I surprisingly knew what I was doing when I made that first video.
Well, that's good to know. Anyway, you look back and be a little proud of yourself. Hey, I did okay with this. That's better than I thought.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
I want to
go ahead.
If I can reach monetization status, because again, I'm still under 1,000 subs, under the watch hours I need to reach monetization.
Mm-hmm.
because I had monetization, but then I lost it during the adpocalypse of
Oh,
2017.
yike. Yes.
Yeah. Because they didn't grandfather us in who didn't meet the new requirements.
Mm, nice.
So if I can meet if I can meet the requirements before December of next year, I am going to do my best to make the um video I release on December 25th,
Hmm.
or not the 25th. I'm going to release a video on December 31st of next year
Hmm.
that is going to be a remake of that original video.
Okay. So you're going to redo it from
I'm
word.
going to try my best to remake it if I can make monetization status before then.
Okay. Well, I mean, you're not that really that far away, are you?
I'm past 500 subs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
So,
you got that. It's
yes.
just the watching hours that you got to
The
catch up on.
watch hours are the biggest hurdle right now because I
Mhm.
don't even have close to what I need for memberships.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
Um,
it's I mean it's something you'll be able to get. I'm sure you'll be able
yeah.
to. Yeah.
But also for the Metroid Marathon this year, I have a bit of a. I'm working on a video that's going to come out on my channel the day before I start the marathon on Christmas Day, actually.
Okay.
Um, it's going to be a theory video. Um, so I'm going to be doing a Metroid theory video about Fantoon.
All right. That
So
it's so you're going all out for Metroid this week.
yes.
Yes.
I've been doing a lot of reaction content this year, or I was doing a lot of reaction content before I ran out of hours on Patreon.
Yeah.
So I'm being like super frugal with the hours I have left.
Yeah.
But some of the hours I have left, I am putting towards again another Metroid cross promotion thing. I'm going to be reacting to the Monday during the Metroid Marathon. I forgot which day that was,
Yeah.
but I'm going to be putting out. It's the 30th. I'm going to be putting out on my Patreon the full reaction to the movie Aliens.
Oh.
Yes,
Mm,
which is what Metroid is famously inspired by.
yes. Oh. Yeah. There'll be some reaction to that, no matter what. No matter what.
Yes,
There's.
and if I can get it done in a timely manner, I'll try to get it on the reaction channel, but I doubt I'm going to be able to.
Mm, well.
I have not been great at getting my edits on the reaction channel, like at all.
So it's just not enough time, or just
I'm pretty much a one girl show right now. Well,
yeah,
asterisk on that. We'll get into that later.
yeah, yeah. There's an
Um,
asterisk. Yes.
yeah, there's an asterisk on the. I'm a solo act. So like I pretty much have to do everything myself.
Yeah.
So I'm like writing the scripts, I'm editing, I'm recording. I'm doing everything.
Yeah.
So it's hard to keep up with like the workload of everything I want to do.
Mm.
Especially because since I'm unmonetized, I can't even hire anyone to help me out.
That's true. That's true. Now,
Yeah.
you did the asterisk.
Yes.
That's something that happened fairly recently, isn't it?
Yes. Very, very recent development,
Mm.
actually. Like past day or two recent.
Mm. That's fairly recent. Care to spill the
Yes.
beans a little bit on that?
Yeah. So I recently came to the realization that I'm actually plural.
Mm.
Like for those of you who don't know, that means that I have like um, multiple entities within me,
Mm-hmm.
headmates. Still learning the terminology because this is still very, very new to me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but from what I can tell, she's basically been like around for like 12 years now.
Mm-hmm.
And I just didn't know she was there. She's basically like manifested during a time of my life where my kind and caring nature wasn't enough to protect me from the world.
Mm.
So
That,
she kind of it manifested in a way to protect me.
I see. She stepped forward when she thought it was
Yes.
necessary.
So because the past couple of years I have been in a place where I haven't needed her like at all,
Mm-hmm.
I she has gotten to the point where she has kind of been desperately trying to get me to notice her.
Mm.
So when I became a VTuber, I had my character Megumi Mary, and there's also an evil twin character I have called Megumi Nightmare, whose name is actually a pun on nightmare.
Right.
Um, so I'm now realizing that she kind of latched onto the character as a way of trying to get me to realize that she existed.
Mm. Hmm. That's so. Do you think that maybe subconsciously you created that character too for this to happen?
We're still trying to figure it out.
Uh,
Um, but she definitely didn't like the way I portrayed the character originally. That's for
oh.
sure.
Ah.
Because
So
originally the character was portrayed as someone who didn't like me at all, and that is definitely not the case.
no, no. Otherwise, she wouldn't manifest to protect you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
She's actually the exact opposite. She, like, everything she does is to protect me. So we're now kind of she's been established as like, she's had her own blue sky and Twitter
Mm-hmm.
and everything else for a while now. So it's going to be interesting trying to adjust the public perception, even though she doesn't have that many followers on anything.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
That's not
but
good.
it is.
Yeah. That's not going to be easy to do.
It's not, but honestly, I think it's interesting to see how being a VTuber has kind of helped in this regard.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't think I would have realized for a while that she existed if it wasn't for being a VTuber.
Mm. Well, that it kind of created the opportunity, didn't it, to for her
Exactly.
to emerge.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. And um.
And she's kind of like whenever there's a like a online troll or someone like coming after me and harassing me, she steps in and deals with it.
Hmm. Is it? Forgive my questions. But is it something where she takes over completely, or do you both have control at the same time? How does that work?
Um, so when I'm fronting, she's just like a voice at the back of the head.
Uh-huh.
But when she's fronting, she's not comfortable having me not be in control at all.
Oh.
So it's kind of co-piloting there.
Oh. Wow. That would be.
She's very new to this because she's only recently like started to front.
Mm, mm,
So she is not comfortable taking full control, and I don't think she's ever going to be.
mm. That's. I mean, that's something I'd never heard of before. Um, but
Yeah, so
it.
it's basically like it's a surreal experience because again, this is so new to me.
Mhm.
So it's she's basically like piloting, and I just have no control.
Wow. So is that something that you think you've accepted now, and you're able to? You're
Oh, I accepted it like instantly
yeah.
as soon as I realized she was there. I'm like, I accepted it fully.
Yeah, yeah, and maybe it might be relief a little bit now that you know what's going on.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Because honestly, I've always like I don't know why, but like again, I think it was like I've always like with the character, you know, back when I thought she was a character,
Hmm.
I always had like this kind of attachment to her.
Hmm.
So now that I realize that she was actually her own thing, her own entity,
Right.
it makes a lot more sense.
With that now, uh, this is, I would imagine it's like a bright light opening up in front of you, and a whole new game board in front of you.
Oh yeah,
Are you excited with this? Are you concerned with this?
I'm super excited actually.
Mm, that's
I mean, if anything, my concern is that it took me so long to realize she was here because I kind of feel like I cost her too much time, but
mm.
you know,
Well, I mean, she was cost her or cost you too much time.
cost her time.
Mm. Because
Because again, like
yeah,
it took me so long to realize she was there
uh-huh.
that she she didn't have time to be who she was.
She didn't get a chance to kind of fully be her.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, she's only now getting to be herself
Yeah.
when she's been like lingering around for so long.
The reason why I asked for you too, because since she's been there, you've kind of missed out on having someone there with you.
That is true, but you know, I have her now.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean,
So,
I'm glad you got that set up now that you know, and things can go forward together as as uh,
yeah.
as
She's
a people's.
she's definitely been helping me stay on task a bit more recently,
Mm.
which is definitely going to be helpful because there's a lot of stuff I want to get done. You
Yeah.
know, there's the YouTube stuff, there's the video editing stuff. I have like this whole book series that I'm working on.
Oh yeah.
You know, yeah.
We haven't even talked about that. I mean,
We have not.
The author part of you, and this is, I am always very jealous of anyone who writes who's able to get the book done. Because
there's so many to write though, because it is a 27 book work in progress.
Oof.
And like if I accomplish nothing else, it is to finish this series.
How many have you got done?
So right now I'm on 11.
Wow.
10 is currently being 10 is already finished.
Mm-hmm.
It's being uploaded to Wattpad, so anyone who wants to read it for free can find it on Wattpad. The links are available on my website, megumimary.com/links.
Yep, we're gonna have that up for you in the description, folks. So
yep.
Make sure you find out.
So you can read everything for free there.
Mm.
It's a big, massive series that spans multiple genres. It started out as like separate book series ideas. Ooh, hit my mic.
It's okay.
It started out as separate book series ideas I've had like over the course of my life.
Yeah.
And then like the idea of like a shared continuity kind of like resonated with me. So I wanted to see if like I could apply it to my own book series. And not only did it work, but it like filled in so many plot holes.
Yeah.
That it felt like it was like meant to be.
Mm.
And then there was always like this one force of like darkness that was always more threatening and ominous than the actual villains in my stories.
Right.
So I'm like, that's the major antagonist. That's the end game antagonist. That right there.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like it's like the mega bad guy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So because in the original stories he didn't actually have a name, for the first half of the series he doesn't I don't reveal what his actual name is. The characters only know him as the Dark One. Because they don't know what he's called. He doesn't tell them his real name. He doesn't feel like they've earned his actual name.
Oh man, that is That is some world building you've got going on there.
Yes.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. And you still got over half to
So
go. Whew.
yeah, and because it's like made up, and because it's made up of different book series ideas, in order to make certain storylines fit together, there are going to have to be certain events that drastically shake up the way things, that shake up the world as we know it.
Mm. This is I'm thoroughly jealous that
Yeah,
you're able to do this and put this to down for
yeah.
folks to read. It's
I'm I'm most excited for when I finish and have people reading book number 14 because that's the big one.
mm, that's for the
Book 14 is like the one that's going to change everything.
mm,
Because that is the one where I drop the biggest, the biggest lore reveals, the biggest like plot points,
mhm.
the biggest plot twist of the entire series, in my opinion. And it's also when I finally reveal the villain's name.
Ah, well, that would
And
that makes sense. It's right in the middle of the 27 too.
exactly,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
And the fact that it just happened to and again, the fact that it just happened to line up that way too is just amazing for me. It
Thir-
it just feels like it was meant to be like this.
13 before and 13 after. That doesn't have an omen to it.
Yeah. So, and it's like the series is made up of arcs,
Yeah.
which are like what the original book series were.
Hmm.
So in each arc, we basically have like a new set of main characters to follow. Um, but like the story and lore building carries over.
Right.
So what one set of characters do, they're, you know, it'll carry over into the next arc.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
And
something that happens in book one is that something happening in book one affects something that happens in book 11.
exactly.
Mm.
And let's say, and my magic system is basically it's very what's the word I want to use?
Basic.
It's deceptive in its simplicity, I might say.
Oh, okay. There you go.
It's it's pretty simple, but with creative application, its possibilities are limitless.
Yeah. So you have to hone your skill in it in order to get the most out of it.
Exactly. There are set rules,
Mm.
but it's like if you adhere to these rules, but work around them and play to their advantage,
Mm.
you could game the system and like do whatever you want.
Wow. That's so. How long have you been working on this?
Again, it's like made up of book series ideas I've had most of my life. Um the original draft of like the oldest story that makes up the series,
Yeah.
um which is completely different from the one that actually exists now, I might add.
Mm-hmm.
Book 5, The Living Death, is completely different from the original draft I had for The Living Death back in 2005.
Wow. So
Yeah,
that's
almost 20 years ago.
now in a couple days. It is 20 years. Um,
Yeah,
oh, so this is really this has gone
decades
beyond.
in the making.
Yeah, I mean this has gone beyond writing a book.
Yeah.
This is a life project for you.
Oh yeah. This is a lifelong project.
Oh,
I mean, earlier this week I got my hands I managed to get a hold of an old friend
mm-hmm.
who still had a copy of, cuz I'm reaching the first book after the halfway point, cuz again, I'm getting close to the halfway point.
Right.
The first book after the halfway point is called Sorcerer of Gambic, but I don't have, and Sorcerer of Gambic, Operation Starburst, and Element of Destruction. Those 3 books, I've written those before.
Mm.
And they're actually going to be pretty similar to the new versions. I do have to change a bunch of stuff to fit in with the current lore.
Right.
But at the same time, they're going to be very similar.
Wow. So it's more like editing them in.
Exactly.
Yeah. So you've got a lot of the work done. You just have to you just have to find the elephant in the rock, so to speak.
Exactly. So I had to get my hands on an original copy of the story.
Yeah.
So I actually managed to get one from an old friend who I haven't spoken to in like a couple years, who managed to find it on one of their old computers.
Wow.
Yeah.
Old computers are going to be the parchment papers from for our generation, I think.
And oh my God, like my writing style was so very different. Like The Living Death, when I wrote it as like a screenplay, right? Like my original writing style was more of a screenplay because I originally thought I wanted to be more of a screenwriter.
Right.
This is why my one of the compliments I always get about the way I write my stories is that my action set pieces have a cinematic feel to them.
Mm-hmm.
Like my stories have a cinematic feel to them is one of the compliments I get.
Right.
And that my action set pieces are very detailed yet easy to follow.
And with that, it automatically creates a vision in someone's head as they're reading it.
Exactly.
It gives them
exactly
what they would be seeing in that.
Exactly.
Moment. Yeah.
And I think that's a holdover because of the fact that I originally wanted to do screenwriting because the original copy of The Living Death was a screenplay. The Sorcerer of Gambic was my first attempt at writing a book.
Mm.
So it was interesting to reread it all these years later. And I'm like, for my first attempt, this wasn't bad, but wow. This was
eye-opening, huh?
This was cliche. I love my cliches, right?
Yeah.
But I also love playing with them. For example, I'm going to get into a bit of book one spoilers here. I hope you don't mind.
Go ahead.
All right. So the first book in my series, I basically, the first arc is a whole play on the Chosen One prophecy.
Mm.
A classic.
Right.
A very classic, overdone trope.
Right.
But my spin on it is that the prophecy says the Chosen One will die in her attempt to kill the villain. So basically, the hero of the story, by accepting that they're the Chosen One, they're also accepting that they're going to fail and die at the end of the year.
That's different. I mean, it's always the Chosen One is going to win no matter what.
Yes.
And you've already basically established that they're not going to win. In fact, they're going to fail.
Yes.
Mm. So people. Well, I'm not gonna speculate because I have to read the book. But I can think of some things that come off that. That's certainly a different twist on things.
Yes, but then it goes further, right?
Yeah.
Because another aspect of it is the villain's motivation.
Mm.
This is book 3 spoilers now.
Okay.
The villain only becomes the villain because the prophecy said he was going to be the villain.
Oh.
But then he's told by the Dark One of all people that that's not how destiny works. That he chooses his own fate and that there exists timelines and possibilities where he didn't become the villain.
Right.
That infinite possibilities exist.
Right.
Like the timelines.
Right.
Basically. So this basically in the third book has him going through a whole identity crisis about if he even wants to be the villain anymore.
Right.
And, I took what was originally a very one-note, one-dimensional character and gave him a very three-dimensional character arc.
Maybe even more than three when you come down to it in timelines and such.
Pretty much.
That's a lot of extra dimensions there.
Exactly, and I think the end result is something that people might really love.
That's cool. That's the wonderful thing about creativity and the way that you present it, is that the possibilities are literally endless if you don't pigeonhole yourself and you don't give yourself a ceiling. You don't have one when it comes to these things.
Exactly. And this is what I like about cliches. Because, the tropes and cliches are tropes and cliches for a reason.
Yeah.
But you got to know how to mix them up and twist them to your advantage.
That's very devious of you, by the way.
Yeah.
I applaud you from here.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Well done. And
a great example of this is spoilers for anyone who hasn't seen the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Both of you.
Can I continue?
Absolutely.
Infinity War.
Mm-hmm.
Infinity War, on its surface, is your average movie about someone just trying to overcome all odds to fight against the antagonist of the story.
Right.
The thing is that we don't realize until the end that the antagonist of the story is the villain. I mean, that the protagonist of the story is the villain, and that the antagonist is the Avengers.
Yes.
Because it's Thanos' story, and on a first viewing, you don't realize it.
Yep.
And they took a very basic story structure and flipped it on its head.
Yep.
The
win after number one, the first movie, is so an utter win. And the start of number two, when he's just sitting there like, oh, okay, job well done. You're like, well, it's sometime afterwards. Why are you? They haven't accepted it yet. That it's all over with. It really does take the trope and turn it around.
Yeah.
That's really cool. I tell you, this is not long enough an interview to have with you, so I hope you come back soon. Too much stuff to talk about, and you're far too talented a person to just let go.
We haven't even touched on like some aspects of my channel or like what my streams are like or anything like that.
Yeah, hardly touched on it at all. But we did get the fact that you've got the big event coming up. Folks need to get in there. The Metroid Marathon starting on the 26th, heading through. There's a day 7 there with the question mark, exclamation point, and 2 eyes.
Yeah, I wonder why there's a day 7.
That's a cliffhanger for everybody. So make sure you tune in to see what Megumi Mary's got going on. We'll have the links that we mentioned in the description. And thank you so much for coming on. It's an absolute pleasure talking with you.
Pleasure talking to you too. Thank you so much for having me. Have a good one.
Thank you for listening to Eric Loy Interviews. Join us again next time when we talk to another member of the always interesting VTuber community.